Hey everybody, this is Rob Vegas. I'm checking in from Melbourne, Australia, and of course we are back here with another video about a DVD which has a movie on it. Of course, it's movie month, so we're celebrating all things movies and DVDs. Physical media, yay, very good. We're talking about the year 2001 film called Buffalo Soldiers, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Ed Harris, Anna Paquin, and Scott Glenn. How's that for an awesome cast? Now, this movie is just over 20 years old now, and it's a banger, this one. If you haven't seen it, it sort of flies under the radar a bit because it came out at a very controversial time, of course, where there was geopolitics and things like that. So this movie sort of was released at like some film festivals, like one in Toronto, where it received a pretty good reception, and then of course geopolitics got in the way, and this movie was sort of, they shelved it for a couple of years because of it was potentially perceived as viewing certain organizations in a negative light. And I guess, it's up to you how you want to view that, but here we are 20 years later and we can still enjoy the movie. I did actually pick this up back in 2003 when it came out on DVD, so they filmed it and then, popped it aside, so it ended up sitting on the shelf gathering dust and all sorts of debris for a couple of years until they really quietly snuck it out into a couple of cinemas and onto DVD, of course, because of perceived controversy. But, hey, that's enough of the serious stuff. Let's talk about the movie, because this one is a heap of fun. As I said, it stars Joaquin Phoenix, who plays an army officer, Ray Elwood, and he's stationed in Germany as part of the US Army, and it's set in the late 1980s, specifically 1989, and of course at the time of the setting of the movie, 1989, it was still Cold War. So if you don't know what that is, head on over to Wikipedia. But basically they had a whole lot of troops assembled, as it were, in Germany, and of course there was the Berlin Wall and the Iron Curtain and everything like that. So there were these dudes stationed in the army there, and they had all the time in the world on their hands, so they get up to all sorts of mischief and pranks. And Joaquin Phoenix's character Elwood, he spends his spare time doing dodgy stuff, basically, like black market, and also like producing like drugs and selling all sorts of stuff, just to make a buck and make his stay in Germany comfortable. So there's a lot of sort of fun antics and things like that, where they'll order, like from his quartermaster, he will order like tons of detergent and just everyday items and stuff like that, and then sell it on the black market because it was there at the time, and he can make a couple of bit of cheddar cheese on the side, as it were. And of course he has like a senior officer who turns a blind eye to it, and he's sort of checked out as well, and just lets them get away with it until, of course, Scott Glenn's character comes into the picture, and he gets sent into the army barracks that Joaquin Phoenix and his gang are sort of stationed in, and causes all sorts of trouble for the team, as of course Scott Glenn's character is like super serious, and he just doesn't have the time of day for these shenanigans and troops messing around and bending the rules. So there's obviously, that's where the conflict comes into the movie, and through some sleights of hand and twists of fate, as it were, Joaquin Phoenix's character ends up in like between a rock and a hard place, as he's got like a whole lot of contraband that he's got to get rid of, and all sorts of illegal stuff that he just has to offload. And he's got Scott Glenn, coming at him from all sides, like hey, he's going to catch, Joaquin Phoenix's character, and he's just not going to, give up until he gets him. So that's where the conflict comes into, and it all sort of builds up towards, of course, a big event that happens in the background in the movie, which is, of course, the Berlin Wall collapses, or, like there was a People's Revolution in East and West Germany where they just had enough of the Berlin Wall, and that's kind of the backdrop and the setting for the movie. And yeah, all these characters get caught up in it, and chaos ensues, of course. And Joaquin Phoenix's character, he doesn't really save the day or anything, but I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say, his he finds himself in a sort of better place towards the end of the film without the strict sergeant like chasing him down, but he gets back up to his old tricks. But if you haven't seen this one, it's an absolute blast, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a real black comedy about what happens when people get put in this situation where, they've got so much time on their hands, and they just want to have some fun and make a couple of bucks on the side. Now, it was actually filmed in Germany as well, so you get that sort of, setting as to where the film is portrayed. So there's all of that, and yeah, you get like a lot of fun all throughout the movie. So if you haven't seen it, it's a tough one to track down. So I do apologise for throwing out all these movies that have fallen off the radar. But yeah, you're in for a good time with this, and yeah, definitely worth checking out if you're in for some black comedy and a lot of laugh and some really fantastic actors across the board. Like, it's a top-notch cast. You'll see some early performances from Michael Pena, who has, he pops up in the Ant-Man movies of late, and also a few other, like, he's one of those guys you see in like heaps of movies, and he's great. As I said, there is Joaquin Phoenix is the main character, Ed Harris, Scott Glenn, Anna Paquin. Of course, she's from the X-Men franchise, among other things. Also, Idris Elba shows up in one of his early roles as well. So you're in for a real treat in terms of star power, and a fun story with, lots of fun commentary and comedy, and yeah, a tiny bit of action splashed in there. But you'll have a good time watching this one, and I'm going to give this a big old 4 on the Rob Vegas DVD scale. So yeah, if it's on TV, which it probably won't be, or if you can track the DVD down, or if it's on streaming, wherever it might be, worth a watch. So check it out and have fun along the way. Have you seen this movie? Let me know in the comments below, and of course leave a big old thumbs up and subscribe if you want to hear about some more movies and DVDs this month, which is what we're tackling. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Stay cool and stay tuned. I'll see you soon. Yeah, it's raining a bit outside, isn't it?